right. Now the first thing that comes to mind when I see this place is that I want to make a little tutorial video. Let me just let me go in here, just make sure I'm all by myself here. Whoa! Look at this bando. I can't wait to take my 5-inch and go ripping through this place. Holy crap, look at this place. I can't wait to take my DJI Avata 2 around here and do some exploring. What's that thing? This is my DJI Avata 2. It's really cool. It comes with this little bag with my goggles and the controller. I get excellent flight time. It has prop guards on it, and it has really excellent protection all the way around. Not bad. This is a bind and fly 5-inch drone from IFlight. This could do up to 100 miles an hour. All right. Who are these guys? Hey guys, I kind of got a little tutorial video to do here. You want to take that somewhere else? All right, the hell with this. I'm gonna go fly up and down some train tracks and make some sick vids. All right, I'm gonna go make a cinematic video and do some narrations over it so I could further connect with my audience. Thanks. All right, let's get into it. All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Well, basically what I want to do is I want to make a short little tutorial video for anybody just like myself that's been flying an Avata 2 and kind of want to branch out a little farther and kind of get a bind and fly. But there's a couple things that are a little intimidating jumping into this, so I just wanted to kind of get into some of the little steps that you got to go into, and then once you're all done, you could simply have everything binded up to your controller and your goggles, use this, and then you could just switch between the drones like nothing. So let's get into it. So if you're like me, probably the first thing you're going to want to do is when you get your bind and fly drone is you're going to want to bind up your goggles to it, just so you could have some connection to it. To me personally, it felt like the first step in the right direction of actually being connected with the new drone I got. So let's just go into that one real quick, and I'm going to show you how to bind these things. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to turn on your goggles. All right, so when you have your DJI goggles powered on here, I'm using the DJI Goggles 3, you want to hold down the button. So now it's in binding mode. Now I'm not going to actually bind it because I'm already binded up, but I'm going to show you what to do. With the aerials on, I've been told that you don't want to power this thing out without the aerials on. It could be bad, but you want to power up the drone, and on the side here, there's a little button that says bind. So while this thing's binding right there, you want to push and hold down this little button while this is powered on, and then the lights on here, they'll start to blink. Once that's blinking, you're going to hear dee-dee-dee, and then you're going to be binded. On to the next step. All right, so once you're binded up and everything, there's going to be 2 pieces of software that you're going to need. One is Dji Assistant, the consumer version, and the other one is Betaflight. So go ahead and download Dji Assistant 2, the consumer version. You could just Google search that, and you could find that on DJI's website. Select your operating system and download. The second piece of software you're going to need is Betaflight. You could do that just by searching in Google Betaflight download. You're going to go to their webpage. It's a little confusing. Just click here, scroll down. There you go. Start the download and you're good to go. All right, so once you got those 2 pieces of software downloaded and installed, we're going to move on to the next part here, is that we're going to have to activate the O4 air unit. One of the first things you're going to notice too, if you bind up your goggles and look through here, you're going to get a little message saying the O4 unit is not activated. So what we're going to do is with the DJI Assistant 2, once that's downloaded and installed, this is what we're going to do. You're going to take a USB-C cable, and you're going to go into the port right on the side of the O4 air unit. Plug it in right here. That's going to plug into your computer, the same one with DJI Assistant 2 on there. Once that's all connected, you're going to log in with your DJI account. You're going to be prompted with a little icon there. Click on it, and it's going to activate. Once you went through the activation portion, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a firmware update. So while everything's connected, the drone's powered on and everything, you're going to do the firmware update that's in the Dji Assistant 2 program. So get all that taken care of. All right, on to the next step. We're going to do Betaflight. I know everyone gets a little intimidated from this one, but don't worry. It's really, it's not that complicated. It can be. There's a lot of buttons and switches on there, but if we're just concerned about getting the thing out of the box and getting it up and flying in the air, we're going to get through this really quick. There's really just 2 little things you got to do. So open up Betaflight. Actually, I'm going to send it over to myself back at the compound. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take that same USB-C cable that we have here, and we're going to plug it into the flight controller this time. This one's in the side. So let's plug that one in. And mine too, you still have your goggles powered on and the controller. And we're going to power up the drone. Launch. That says loading. All right, on mine, this just automatically popped up when I got it. I didn't have to do anything. It was on auto connect, COM7, Betaflight. So we're gonna do connect, boom. There you go, now it's connected to the drone. Here's the drone. If you pick the drone up and move it around, you can see it registering on there, which is pretty kind of cool. So let's go over here. You want to come down to receiver here. It should look like this, and then with everything turned on, you still got your goggles on and your controller. When you move your sticks around, it should register. So that means you're pretty good. If you made it this far, you're pretty good. So these are all the other settings. I didn't change anything in here. All this stuff was pre-selected on straight when I plugged it in out of the box. The next one you want to go to is the modes. This is the one I had to change. So everything was normal. Don't mind these. This was me playing around with my GPS and the beeper. The ones you got to focus on is up here. So when I first got this drone on, this one was fully on here, which means I could fly the drone, but it was stuck in angle mode. Angle mode means the drone, and like I said, it's stuck in this, you can't fully pitch it over or tilt it over. It's kind of like sport mode in the Avata. So the thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to deselect this one, and you want to make it look like that. Once you do that, you want to hit save, and I'm going to explain why. So you hit save. So what we're doing here is we're setting these to the arm button, the button that's going to turn on the props, that's going to actually start the motors on this thing, and then this button that's going to turn off or on the angle mode. So this is what we're going to do with the DJI 3 controller. So we're going to make this button, which you can see up here. See this little thing moving around here? On, off, on, off. So that's that one. So now in the same one, for this one, is going to be our arm button. So down is on. So when this thing is in this mode here, that means on. So we're going to go deselect, turn on. So that's all we're doing here. So we're just slaving these buttons to angle mode off and arm on. So take a quick look. You just want to get your settings like that. Last thing you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to come down to the motors tab right over here, and you're going to want to make sure everything's working. So your drone's plugged in, it's powered up and everything. You don't have any props on there, very important. So you want to go to the motors tab. We're going to deselect this thing here. So if everything's good to go, these should be able to spin up your motors here. Each one of these is indicating one of your 4 motors here. So let's try one. Oop. All right, so we're good to go on that one. Just go back to configuration, and the one thing you want to do is to save and reboot. It's going to cycle the drone. And there you go. You're all done. Everything's in there. So go back up here. Disconnect. Oop. Close. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to unplug the drone. Unplug everything. And then you're good to go. You're going to want to pick up a couple tools that are really that are going to help you on your way here. The first thing you're going to need is like these pair of pliers here. I'm not sure the exact name, but basically their function is holding onto the motors here. So you could grab onto these nuts here and you got actually something to hold on to. Second really important tool is this key here. Not exactly sure the name of it, whatever. I found it pretty easy on Amazon. I'm sure you guys could too. But it has two hex drivers on here, 2 Allen keys, the main ones that fit the drone. And the other thing on here, it has these pretty much like sockets that hold on to the nuts here. They only spin one way, so between the two of these things are an absolute necessity that you need for taking on and off the props on the thing. Now all you're going to need to do to switch between the drones in here is go put on your DJI goggles, power them on. In the menu, you're going to open up status and then hit switch at the top there. And then it should bring you down the list of different drone settings on there, but you could select your Avata 2 and then your DJI 04 Air unit. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to do, just from switching both of these things back and forth. I hope that could help some people out there kind of making their decision on coming from the Avata and jumping into a 5-inch there, because you could just completely use all your existing things. And once you get those little, you know, the Betaflight thing and the activation all set up, you're pretty much good to go. You could kind of take them both with you wherever you go and kind of independently switch. But yeah, that's it. So I hope that video helps out some people out there in internet land. All right, see you guys.